Randy Orton snapped. Not the measured, cold-blooded predator we've all seen. This was raw, physical, and unhinged. He didn't just push back. He snapped at Centimeter Punk in front of cameras, backstage, and in front of the WWE world. You saw it, you maybe replayed it, but did you feel the heat? Did you sense how this changes everything? Drop a yes in the comments if you felt it and tell me, was that the Orton we've always known, or something far darker? Today on Wrestling Zone 1 we're tearing apart that moment, the fallout, the motivations, and the real possibility that WWE just lit the fuse on a rivalry that could reshape the landscape. Stay with me and answer this quick question in the comments before you keep watching. Who benefits the most from this snap? Randy Orton, Centimeter Punk, or WWE as a company? Don't just say a name. Tell me why. Part 1, setting the scene. What happened? Let's start at the beginning, because context matters. The WWE exclusive taping was supposed to be a controlled environment, a place where stars show their best polished selves for interviews, behind-the-scenes features, and promotional content. Centimeter Punk walked in with the swagger he's honed over a decade, measured, razor-sharp, the man who built a fortune on words and psychology. Randy Orton, the Viper, walked in like a storm. The cameras caught fragments, a pointed comment, a dismissive smirk, and then the moment the internet will loop for weeks, Orton's temper cracked. He didn't just argue with Punk, he snapped. Verbal jabs turned into shoves. A chair nearly toppled. Security moved in. The look on Punk's face wasn't fear, it was the calculation of a fighter realizing the stakes had escalated. This wasn't petty backstage heat. This was the kind of moment that makes locker rooms electric and social media explode. Ask yourself, was this planned? Was it smoke and mirrors meant to build a storyline, or was this the raw, human reaction of two alpha personalities colliding? Type planned or real below, and explain why. Part 2, character study. Randy Orton. If you want to understand why this moment felt so dangerous, you need to understand Randy Orton. He's been called the cold-blooded killer, the Viper, and at times, the architect of some of the most chilling moments in sports entertainment. Orton's greatest strength is his unpredictability. He's patient, he waits, he studies, and then he strikes. But there's another side we rarely discuss. Randy has been pushed, prodded, and provoked for years. He's weathered injuries, creative ups and downs, and the weight of being an icon expected to always elevate the next generation. That pressure can fracture even the calmest persona. When he snapped at Punk, you could see history in his eyes, the darkness Orton carries like a second skin. Consider the body language. Close-up shots showed tension in his jaw, rapid breathing, and hands twitching like a caged animal. In wrestling, body language is everything, and every twitch tells a story. Was Orton sending a message to Punk, to WWE creative, or to the locker room, or was he simply human, a legend pushed to the edge? Small viewer question. Which Randy Orton era do you prefer, the cold, calculating Viper, or the more chaotic, unpredictable version? Vote in the comments and say why. Part 3, the other side. Centimeter Punk. Then there's Centimeter Punk, the man who built a career on being brutally honest, who left and came back on his own terms, and who knows how to provoke a reaction without losing control. Punk's strength is his mouth and mind, turning insults into momentum and words into weapons. He thrives in controversy but values respect and boundaries. Punk didn't lose his head, not once. He absorbed the blow figuratively and possibly physically and responded with that trademark seriousness. He didn't escalate. He diffused in a way that made him look both dangerous and intelligent. In that moment, Punk did what he's always done best, he controlled the narrative and made others react to him. Now ask yourself, was Punk baiting Orton? Or did he simply stand his ground and let Orton expose himself? I want specifics. Post your take below with an example from Punk's past behavior that supports your view. Part 4, planned or real, the arguments. Let's break down the two possibilities. First, this was planned. Why it might be planned? WWE is a business that thrives on heat. A real backstage flare-up can be too risky. Planning gives control. Orton and Punk are proven ring generals who've worked angles before, both understand the value of viral moments. Camera placement and cutaways were suspiciously cinematic, like something a production team would want captured. But now the other side, this was real heat. Why it might be real? Raw emotion is hard to fake. The micro-expressions, adrenaline, and tension are often visible in ways that scripted scenes can't imitate. Real life has produced real grudges before. Look at famous locker room incidents that started as genuine disputes and later morphed into storylines. If it were entirely planned, why risk actual legal or physical fallout? WWE typically keeps tighter control over moments with high injury risk. You decide. Is this a tightly plotted swerve from WWE creative, or a genuine human clash that exploded on camera? Drop your verdict and list one reason why you think that way. Part 5 Creative Implications. What this means for storylines, whether planned or real. The aftermath has to be considered. WWE thrives on conflict. A snap like this injects instant heat into both men's portrayals. Here are 3 plausible creative routes WWE can take, ranked from subtle to explosive. 1. Psychological warfare. Orton's snap becomes a slow burn feud. They trade verbal barbs, mind games, and backstage ambushes. Orton would hunt Punk's psyche, a prolonged chase that culminates at a major pay-per-view. This plays to both men's strengths, psychology and storytelling. 2. In-ring collision. They escalate to physicality. A surprise attack, a brawl on SmackDown, followed by stipulation matches. Orton's RKO out of nowhere versus Punk's grounded technical offense, sold as a clash of eras. This sells mainstream attention and merchandise. 3. Locker room split. The snap triggers a locker room debate. Other superstars pick sides, leading to faction warfare. Orton becomes the face of the old guard, Punk the leader of the new revolution, and WWE splits into camps, a storyline that keeps fans invested across multiple shows. Which of these do you want to see? Vote below. Slow burn, in-ring, or faction war. Argue your pick in 2 to 3 lines. Part 6 Real-life consequences. Beyond the storyline, there's a human cost to on-camera heat. Wrestlers are people with families, contracts, and careers. If this was real, both athletes could face fines, suspensions, or worse. The WWE has to weigh liability. A genuine physical attack could open legal doors. Even if planned, there's risk. Someone gets hurt, someone's reputation is damaged, or a storyline goes off the rails. Look at history. The industry has seen real conflicts turned into angles, and the line between business and beef often blurs. When it's real, people get hurt. When it's fake, fans sometimes feel betrayed. WWE must be careful, but they also can't ignore the ratings spike this generates. The calculus is brutal: risk versus reward. Small viewer question: if this was real and WWE punished Orton, is that the right call? Why or why not? Keep answers civil but passionate. Part 7 Fan Psychology. Why we care. Why did this clip make us lean forward? Because heat like this promises authenticity. Wrestling fans want drama, but they also crave realness, moments that feel unscripted. The danger of blurred reality is that it allows fans to believe they are catching lightning in a bottle. We watch not just for the athleticism, but for the human story. Also, there's Schadenfreude. Seeing a superstar lose composure is strangely satisfying. We see their flaws and feel closer to them. But there's also anger. If Orton truly crossed a line, fans will hold him accountable. That friction fuels conversations online, merch sales, and viewership spikes. WWE knows this. So do Orton and Punk. Comment challenge: which moment in wrestling history felt most real to you, where you couldn't tell if it was planned? Name the moment and why it hooked you. Part 8 Timeline. What happens next? Let's map out the likely timeline in the coming weeks. Immediate: WWE releases edited footage, sound bites, and social posts to control the narrative. Expect official statements that are vague and careful. Short-term: appearances on talk shows, podcasts, and social platforms as WWE tries to manage fan reaction. Look for both men to maintain kayfabe and then break it just enough to keep interest. Medium-term: teasers on weekly TV leading to a match announcement. If WWE wants to capitalize, they'll book a high-profile match within a few months. Long-term: depending on reception, the feud either becomes a headline storyline or fizzles into background noise. Prediction: WWE will milk this. Not immediately, but they'll orchestrate moments to keep tension alive. A table bump here, a heated promo there, until the payoff is big enough to justify the risk. Poll: how long will this feud last if booked properly? Type: short, under 3 months; medium, 3-6 months; or long, over 6 months, and explain your reasoning. Part 9 Insider Perspective. What sources are saying? Insider chatter and wrestling news outlets are already framing this in multiple ways. Some claim backstage tension between Orton and Punk has been brewing for months. Others insist this was a stunt to boost ratings. The truth likely mixes both elements: personal friction amplified by creative opportunity. Remember, insiders can be right, wrong, or misled. A rumor that fits the narrative will spread faster than a cautious, measured analysis. That's the nature of wrestling journalism. As fans, we must filter claims, seek corroboration, and observe how WWE handles official messaging. Small viewer homework: link one credible report you've seen about the incident in the comments. No garbage sources. Let's build a thread of verified info. Part 10 Analyzing the moment. Shots, sound, and editing. If you watch the footage frame by frame, you see production choices that matter. Camera angles cut to capture heat, Mics pick up words. Producers edit to highlight aggression and reaction. This could be production artifice or brilliant capturing of reality. Pay attention to reaction shots, colleagues' eyes, security's movement, and Punk's controlled breathing. Those small details tell us whether this was organic. Wrestling is a medium of visuals as much as athleticism. A single close-up can turn a minor shove into a career-defining moment. Viewer task: rewatch the clip and post one frame that convinced you it was real or staged. Timestamp it and explain why that frame mattered. Part 11 Potential Match UPS and Dream Scenarios. If this feud turns into a marquee match, imagine the possibilities. Centimeter Punk vs Randy Orton. No holds barred. Punk's endurance versus Orton's opportunism. This would be a brutal, psychological chess match with spots designed to shock. Iron Man match. Punk's resilience faces Orton's patience. A long, technically sound match that would test both men's stamina. Stipulation match. For example, Last Man Standing. If WWE wants to make a statement, they can book a stipulation that sells the violent edge of the conflict. Which match would be your dream? Write your fantasy booking in the comments and include one must-see moment you'd want in that match. Part 12 Broader Impact. What this means for WWE beyond two superstars. This moment echoes across the company. It forces creative to adapt, shifts TV storytelling, and influences how other stars are positioned. If Orton is painted as uncontrollable, WWE can exploit that across feuds. If Punk is shown as a calm counterpoint, that positions him as a central figure for future storylines. More importantly, it raises questions about locker room culture. WWE must decide how it wants to balance real emotion with scripted safety. If they allow heat to spill out, they risk chaos. If they sanitize it too much, they lose authenticity. The decision will shape the product for months. Question for fans: do you want WWE to encourage real heat, or keep everything tightly scripted? Explain your choice with one example of a result from either approach. Part 13 Final Analysis. Who won the moment? Let's pick winners and losers from this incident. Potential winners. WWE. Any controversy that brings attention is a win for now. Views and headlines fuel growth. Centimeter Punk. By staying composed, Punk looks resilient and credible. Randy Orton. If framed properly, the snap re-establishes Orton as volatile and dangerous. A renewed character angle. Potential losers. The locker room. Real or staged, tension can fracture relationships and morale. The product's credibility. If fans feel manipulated, trust erodes. Either man, if punished, suspensions or fines could derail momentum for both. Who do you think actually won? Pick one: WWE, Punk, Orton, or nobody, and defend your choice in the comments. Part 14 Closing Teaser. What we'll watch next. This moment is a spark. The flame will either consume the WWE landscape or burn out fast. In the coming days we'll break down official statements, reactions from other stars, and possible match announcements. Wrestling Zone 1 will be on top of every twist. One more quick comment challenge before you go. If you could write the first promo after this incident, what would Punk say on live TV to kick off this feud? Type it in the comments. Best line gets pinned in the top comment by me. Ending call to action. Now tell me plainly, did Randy Orton snap out of proportion, or did Centimeter Punk push him to the limit? Be specific. Use examples. Keep it civil, but strong. I want heat in the replies. If you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with a friend who needs to hear why this moment matters. Hit like if you want us to keep analyzing every twist and turn, and subscribe for the deepest, hottest takes on this story as it develops. Final thought: moments like this are rare, a flashpoint where real emotion collides with performance. Whether planned or real, it's a reminder that in wrestling, the line between story and life is razor thin. That tension is why we watch. That tension is what makes stars. And that tension is what will make the next weeks on WWE must-see television. Quick recap poll in the comments before you go: was the snap real or planned? Who benefits most from the incident? What match do you want to see? I'll be reading every answer. Start the debate now. Wrestling Zone 1 will break down everything as it unfolds. Stay loud, stay loyal, and see you in the next breakdown.